Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about our weekly forecast from February 16th until February 23rd. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Let's get right into things. Now, first things first, we're going to look at last week's forecast from the 10th through the 16th. If you remember, you can see that 6 days. I made it on Monday last week. I did it one day late, so this week, we're obviously doing it from Sunday to Sunday again, so that's why it's a 7-day instead of a 6-day this week. Now, we were calling for below average temperatures there for the Rockies, and then above average temperatures specifically for the southeastern United States. Let's take a look in 3, 2, 1. And here's what actually happened. And you can see, I think the cold, it went a bit further east than what I was calling for, but really I think this did a nice job, especially there for the southeastern United States, being where the heart of the warm was. And just overall, I think this was a very good forecast. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below, though, of last week's forecast now that you've seen it. Now, let's move on, and we're going to start taking a look at our precipitation forecast, and it's going to be very exciting to take a look at this with you guys. We have the possibility for a southeast snowstorm. It is slight, but definitely the biggest chance we've had all year. I've kind of hinted at this in my previous videos, but sure enough, we're going to actually be talking about that threat today, as in the southeastern United States. We're going to be dealing with some average temperatures, maybe even some below average temperatures, and then above average precipitation. So this is the ingredients for that chance for a southern slider, which is a snowstorm that brings some snow there for the southeastern United States. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Now let's get into our precipitation forecast. Alright, so here's our first layer of precipitation forecast, and sure enough, here we go. In the southeastern United States, we're expecting some slightly above average precipitation for these regions from Texas through the deep south and through northern Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and a bit of North Carolina as well. I think there's a really good chance that we do see this actually extend and kind of take a path where it can go up the coast a little bit, and that would spell a much bigger situation as far as a snowstorm. And the models have really flirted with this idea that around the 20th through the 21st, I would say, of a possible southeast and mid-Atlantic snowstorm. And this chance is very slight. I'm not going to hide that from you guys, so I don't want anybody to get their hopes up. But definitely the ingredients are there, and we only need some very slight changes in the path for this to become a pretty decent snowstorm for areas that have not seen snow this winter. So that's pretty exciting that we have something to track. If you want to track snowstorms like that, you're welcome to join our Facebook group, Weather Freaks. That's going to be in the comment down below. And we track lots of snowstorms together, and it's a very exciting place to just watch the weather and discuss and communicate with other people who love weather just like me, and I'm active in that group as well. So if you'd like to track the weather with me, be sure to join that. It's very, very fun. Now, we're about to go ahead and add another layer of above average precipitation. This is our moderately above average precipitation layer, and I think this is an area where we're going to be dealing with a little bit more precipitation than the surrounding regions. So for Alabama, Georgia, and then up through South Carolina and North Carolina, I think that's where we're going to see the heaviest precipitation out of this storm that's going to come through. Now, we're about to move on and start taking a look at our below average precipitation regions, where we could be dealing with more dry than normal conditions than what's typical for this time of year. Alright, so our first one is going to be to the north of this layer, where we're expecting our storm to come through, and this is going to be for Kansas, Oklahoma, up through Missouri, and in through the Midwest there, Great Lakes regions, and in through the Northeast and the New England states as well, a bit of the Mid-Atlantic as well, there for northern Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, areas like that. This is going to be slightly below average precipitation, so don't expect to get none. This is only our first layer, and in our first layer, it's less noticeable and more just on paper. It's a little bit below average precipitation, but really, a lot of these areas could see precipitation. This is not meaning that you won't see any precipitation. Let's go ahead and add that second area of below average precipitation here, and this is going to be for Oregon, Washington, Idaho, through the Rockies basically, so down through Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, and even New Mexico and Arizona there. And then we see Nevada and California in that as well. We've been dealing with some more dry than normal conditions for most of the winter here, for especially the southwestern United States. At times we've seen the Northwest have a lot of precipitation. Not this week though. Let's go ahead and add our second layer of below average precipitation, and this is where it becomes a lot more noticeable, and probably you will get no precipitation this week. So for the coast of Oregon down through California, but specifically in the coastal regions of California, expect to get pretty much next to nothing as far as precipitation is concerned. And we even have a third layer of below average precipitation here for northern California to the north of San Francisco there, and a little bit of the southwestern coast there of Oregon as well. We're expecting well below average precipitation. Expect to get no precipitation from the 16th through the 23rd if you live in this region. Now we're about to move on and take a look at our temperature forecast, which is going to be very interesting. It's going to be a little bit of a switch up from what we've been seeing. I can say this, we will not be seeing above average temperatures like we have in weeks past this week for the eastern United States, which is good news for a lot of you. All right, now let's go ahead and look at our first layer, and there's going to be a little bit of the very, very deep south that might be experiencing some very slightly above normal temperatures, and that's it for the eastern United States. So a little bit of Louisiana, a little bit of southern Mississippi and Alabama, and then a bit of Florida there experiencing slightly above average temperatures, and it's going to be very slight, not very noticeable, like I said before, so it's going to feel near average for these regions, so it won't be too big of a deal as far as what you're feeling when you walk outside. Let's go ahead and add our second area of above average temperatures here, and this is going to be for California, Nevada, and through Arizona and New Mexico as well. And again, this area, you won't notice it too much, going to not really impact your day-to-day life, but on paper, it will be above average. But let's go ahead and add our below average temperature region. You can see this extends much further than the above average temperature region does. This extends from the northwest through the Rockies, the Midwest, the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and then down through the south central United States like Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, areas like that as well. All of these areas will be slightly below normal temperatures. And again, on this first layer won't be too noticeable, but let's go ahead and add our second layer of below average temperatures. And this is going to be for Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and Utah as well. This is where it's going to be a bit more noticeable that you will be experiencing below average temperatures here. Let's go ahead and add our third layer of below average temperatures, and this is going to be for Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado, and this is going to be an area that's going to be experiencing well below average temperatures. Definitely going to be noticeable, definitely going to be more than 10 degrees below average, so very, very colder than normal conditions expected for these regions in the Rockies. Also, you might notice in the eastern United States, there's a big area where there is no colors, and that's our equal chance area. It'll either be around normal, or there's an equal chance that you will experience a little bit below average temperatures or a little bit above. So everywhere that's not colored in, we have this EC, and this is just such a big area that I wanted to kind of clear that up because I know it's such a large area, and especially the population that lives there, very large amount of people with no color over them. So I just wanted to make that very clear that this is an equal chance area or near average. Now we're about to move on and go ahead and take a look at our special note segment of the video, which is going to be very exciting. I have two different snowstorms to show you guys here, one for the upper Midwest and then one for the southeastern United States that we're going to have to talk about here in just a minute. Now for your first special note region here, we're going to be talking about the upper Midwest and in through the upstate New York region and then into New England. And this is going to be a winter storm. And on the date, I actually didn't put the date stamp on accident, but this is going to be earlier in our week. This is going to be pretty much from today through maybe the 20th time frame is when it's going to be around the New England area. This one won't bring too much snow. Maybe some areas getting over 6 to 10 inches of snow. Probably tomorrow's video is going to have to be on this snowstorm, so be on the lookout for that one. I'll probably be touching on that storm in tomorrow's video. If you live in these regions, again, just be on the lookout for that storm. Now for special note number 2, and this is probably what a lot of you have been wondering about because this one's a little bit more unusual, to say the least. From Oklahoma through Arkansas, Missouri, probably not all of these regions, but any of these regions could be at risk. Northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, northern Georgia, northern South Carolina, in through North Carolina, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland, Kentucky, Tennessee, a little bit of Missouri as well. All of these regions have slight chance of snow. Again, chance here from the 19th through the 21st, and we're quickly approaching this date. So in the coming days, we will know if this is going to happen or not. There is going to be a storm and there is going to be cold air. And if you know anything about weather, you know that those are the two main things you need for a snowstorm to come together. You need that cold air and you need a storm. And the next thing we need is for that storm to be close enough to the cold air to bring snow. And right now it looks like it's going to be just a little bit too far south. We might get some flurries on the very north end, but just a little bit too far south. But if these models trend just a little bit north, and all winter they've trended west and north. So if they do what they've been doing, then we will see more snow as we move on in the coming days. We will see more snow on the models, and that's just going to have to be something that we track. And again, in the Weather Freaks Facebook group, we are going to be tracking this storm very actively. We're going to be doing every 6 hours a model thread where you can participate. You can track the models with us as they come out. It's very, very exciting stuff, guys. So if you're interested in that, again, down in the comments, you can join us there at Weather Freaks. We have 1,700 members, I believe, now. So, I mean, incredible, very, very active group. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media, and I'll see you guys in the next video.